Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our new show. Let's see if it will become a new show. We will test it out. It's a pilot project. It's called Two Nights Talk. We're the Two Nights. That is my dear friend Johannes Fischer, chief editor
Hello.
of the ChessBase news site. And that'll be myself, Arne Kähler. I'm the content creator after all. And well, we didn't plan to have a show about some of the very recent things happening in chess to be so full of things to talk about. There's been a lot happening, Johannes.
Yeah, it's been quite an eventful week. And I mean, at the beginning of the week, there was the cheating scandal with Shevchenko. And I think that's quite a lot to cover. But then things happened at the US Championship. Christopher Yoo was expelled because of a violation of the conduct codex. But
yes,
yeah,
that was actually rough. So, how much do you know about Christopher Yoo in general? He's 17 years old, and he's.
I don't know much, but I know that he's been the youngest international master of the US when he became an international master, and I know that he has been regarded as one of the greatest talents of the US for a long time. He's 17 years old, yes, and I've always thought he's older because, well, he's been in chess for quite a while.
True.
And he's also very, very good. And I was so surprised then when I heard about this incident. At first it was this crumbling of the score sheet, which of course is not reason enough to ban anyone from the tournament or to expel anyone from the tournament. But as it turned out, and it was first, there was just the rather vague wording that he struck a videographer from behind. But recent Twitter posts seem to indicate that he actually hit a female videographer in the head with his fist, which of course is just absolutely unacceptable.
Crazy thing. And so obviously there's something wrong with the poor guy because, I mean, yeah, 17 and stuff like this, of course, there's certainly some anger issues, but if you cannot control them or handle them, then yeah, the action has to be taken. And he's also, the police is on his trail after all, because that was a violent act. I think, I don't know, number
Fourth grade
four,
assault,
fourth grade,
that's
yes.
the official
So
statement I heard.
if he wouldn't be 17, there would actually be a chance he might face prison, which is not the case.
Yeah.
But yeah, what I mean, there is this chess myth going on that there's this, you know, the movie with Christopher Lambert, Knight Moves.
Yes.
I'm not sure. The younger audience probably has never heard about this movie. It's a chess movie where Christopher Lambert is a grandmaster, and there's the scene where the young grandmaster, like there's a flashback where he's playing against another player and he wins, and the player takes the pen and rams it into the hand of Christopher Lambert, back then a young guy, and then he turns mad, and it's a crime drama thriller thingy after all. So, but there's lots of chess incidents happening after you lose a game. Stuff like that has always been around. But hitting someone, that's a new thing, I think, right?
I think violence is rather rare in chess. I mean, personally, I've never experienced anything like that. Not even opponents threatening me. Maybe some slight forms of verbal insults, you know, or just berating you like, well, you are a patzer, you don't know, you understand nothing about chess and so on. But physical violence. But I know a friend of mine who's, well, how to put this, is a rather robust, physically robust type, and he lacks impulse control. And at an Open in Dortmund, this is quite a while ago, I think he had a bad position, or he lost, and then he just reached over the board to put out his finger put it into the nose of his opponent and moved the opponent to him. And of course, it's not funny, but it's funny. And what I find remarkable is that the opponent went to the arbiter and complained about his opponent. The arbiter did basically nothing, just telling my friend not to do that again. Which
just next time, choose the other nose hole.
Yes, not only with the right, but also with the left hand.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, that's crazy. And I mean, even Adrian Michalczyszyn, in the interview I had with him, he also mentioned that there was a fighting incident between two players over the board directly, where one guy was always like acting as if he was moving, and then he got shoved away, and then a fight escalated. But they also handled it internally. It was like it's happening. It's a thing, right? Yeah,
but compared to other sports, chess is absolutely harmless. I mean, if you know, if you look at the amount of violence or brawls in basketball or football, chess is absolutely harmless.
Yeah. So what to do with the situation with Christopher Yoo? Is there there's of course there's one side who says like ban him from chess forever. That's like very extreme. And the other side is like, well, there's something happening in this poor guy's mind. Can you please try to fix that? Maybe he just couldn't control himself or something like that.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? I'm in two minds about this. On the one hand, I think that everyone deserves a second chance. On the other hand, I think that his conduct, or if he actually hit the videographer, this just reflects so badly on chess. It's not only that he's a private person, he is a representative of chess, and this definitely should not go unpunished.
Yeah, I agree.
But
yeah, we will see.
Of course, anyone who behaves like this should get some help. And on the other hand, I find, and this is just going away from Christopher Yoo, I found it quite interesting that there is this dilemma, or how do you say this? Not dilemma, but this paradox of chess, that I think to play good chess, you have to be a bad loser. You have to have a certain motivation, I don't know about you, Arne, whether you are a good or a bad loser.
I am an amazing loser, luckily. Because I just don't take it that seriously. Yeah. There's this German word Ehrgeiz, which is very hard to translate in English. Ambition, yeah. And as you said, ambition is one of the key factors to becoming a professional chess player, or a strong chess player, I guess. And that
because you need a certain amount of drive and energy, and just if you imagine that you sit down for hours and you focus and you concentrate and you give everything you have, and then you lose. This is a big, this hurts. And also the tension that builds up during the game, and then you lose, you give everything for hours and hours, and then by a stupid error, or because you feel weaker, or because you overlook something, or you're tired, and so on, and then you lose. And this hurts.
Oh, yeah.
This hurts very much.
And especially when you're young, it hurts even more. So I don't know how many countless crying kids I have seen who lost the game over the board on chess, who were 10, 12, 14 and older, who just were so infuriated in themselves and let their emotions out like that. And even I won against kids sometimes, and then you just feel like, now I have to deal with that situation too. Like, I'm so sorry. And but and they keep on playing because either one of their coaches told them like, never give up. Just another terrible thing. And I remember also a scene where a very strong, young, talented player, I know him. He lost his game, and I just saw him after the game sitting on a board on his own, on a table, looking at the board the whole time. He had a knight in his hand. And then out of a sudden, he started jumping with the knight, and he did that loudly to all the directions where the knight has to go for like 2-3 minutes. And it looked fanatic, right? That was his dealing with the anger, but it didn't look good. Yeah. Ah, well. Okay,
Yeah,
we will see what will come with Christopher,
yeah,
I
but
guess.
still, I mean, do you have any coping strategies when losing a game or suffering a
I,
bitter loss?
you're asking the wrong person because yeah, I guess I feel no, I have no copings. I don't feel that much. I feel it's if it was normally it was your own mistake, right? This is what infuriates you. It's not the opponent's fault that you lost. It's your fault because you made an error. That's the thing, right? So you can only, I guess, this is probably the thing which infuriates you the most because you didn't see a tactic or you just calculated wrongly or something because it's on you. I know it from tennis. And in tennis, I got quite infuriated because tennis and chess has some, like, there's the one person playing the sports. And when there's the open field and you just have to play the ball over to the other side to make the point and it goes into the net, it's like, come on. Oh my God, you had one job, right? And I guess for chess players, it feels quite similar like that they just have to hit the ball over to the other side of the field and they hit the net, which is the blunder. And
Yeah.
then they go like, why? How? What is wrong with me? Why am I so stupid?
Yeah, I know this feeling, and I have to admit I've been a very bad loser in chess, you know.
Mm,
Been and and I think I'm still a bad loser, but with age comes a certain amount of maturity, I hope, and I can hide this better, you know. But as a young player, as a junior player, I was very, very bad, and I did
yeah.
everything, you know, just complaining and berating my opponent and sulking for hours on end, you know, and
Wow. Oh
sleeping
wow.
badly and so on and so on.
I guess a lot
But
of chess players listening can relate to you.
yeah, but then I once heard or I read a story about the actor Samuel Jackson, and he took up golf. And after, you know, if he missed a shot and so on, he always got very, very angry about himself, and he was complaining and he was shouting and so on and so on. And actually, Samuel Jackson told this story. So then he said that at a certain point of time, his caddy said, "You're not good enough to get angry. You're not good enough to get angry." And I
Then he
really,
fired the caddy.
I thought the caddy was quite courageous,
Yeah,
you know, just
yeah.
to say this to such a famous person like Mr. Jackson. But I think he has a point, you
Yeah.
know, that, you know, you behave after bitter loss, you behave as if this is undeserved, you know. I mean, I get outplayed by Fabiano Caruana, and well, I should beat this guy, you know. Who is Fabiano
Yeah, yeah,
Caruana?
yeah.
Yeah. And again, I mean, I lose against someone who's 200 elo ratings lower than me. Think, how could this happen? You know, how could this happen? I should have won. And as you say, and I think this is the hard part about chess, that there's no one else to blame. If you play in a team sport like football or basketball, there's always, you know, your teammates, they
Other
messed up the
elements. Yeah.
game, you know. Or even if you play tennis, you know, the ground is not even and there was wind coming and so on and so on. And the arbiter just favored the opponent and so on and so on. But with chess, it's hard because you're confronted with your own mistakes and there's no one else to blame. But on the other hand, I think this is very educative, very instructive because there is no one else to blame, and you can think about this, you know.
Mm,
Why did I
mm.
make this mistake? Why did I make this mistake? And so on and so on. And also what I find quite interesting that if I'm looking inside myself and complaining about, you know, a lost game, I always know that I made an error and there's no one else to blame. So I mean, you know, and all these stories about chess players, they had winning positions and they said, oh, you know, I blundered them away. I outplayed my opponent and I blundered, you know, as if this was just a coincidence. No, but I think this is my mistake. And then my task is, I mean, if it's a task, to do better next time, to learn something from that.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I mean, this will raise the question, this incident now, to maybe dive a little bit more into the psychology of how to lose and how to deal with it and stuff like that. Because it's, as you just said, it's also like an idea of how to grow with dealing with losses and stuff like this. And one of the questions when I was in Budapest is, are you a good or a sore loser? And of course, nothing beats the answer of Gukesh, who says like, I don't think I'm a loser.
Very good, yeah.
Fantastic. It blew me away. And I didn't expect that. And he really thought about this for a second. He wasn't prepared for that.
Yeah.
And others said like, oh, I'm a bad loser. And others also said like, I'm a good loser. And it is telling so much about the personality of the player, who's like either like, you know what? I think I'm enjoying chess more than I would want to become very good at chess or something. Sometimes there's this feeling about the different characters.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I mean, there's always like people saying, "Oh, I played a good game, but I lost, and I prefer to play a good game and lose instead of playing a very bad game and winning." And my take on this is very clear. I can play the worst game, whatever. If my opponent blunders the queen in the end, I win. I'm very, very happy, you know? And I can't imagine to play a good game and lose in the end, because if I lost, it was not a good game. That's my point on that. And I feel that at least 90% of chess players share this sentiment, either, you know, explicitly or implicitly. But another point, just coming back to you, I don't know whether you saw the tweet of Levon Aronian about the Christopher Yoo incident.
I saw. He responded to Ivan Sokolov, right?
Yeah, in which he demanded that young players should get some form of mental training.
So,
what do you think about that?
Well, yes. So, this is why I'm saying the help thing might be a big thing, which is a point in this whole story. Because, so how to say that? I saw a little tweet or an Instagram video or something like that where Christopher Yoo was playing against Hans Niemann, Blitz, and they were in dramatic time trouble. And the way Christopher was behaving after the loss was, I would say, it felt odd.
Mm-hmm.
And in this second, when I saw this, without knowing about this incident, what happened, I thought like, I hope he's all right. I hope he's okay. And this is a thing which you sometimes see when you have like the live presentation of the chess players who are playing against each other. Also, how they behave on the board. If it's like a very calm presentation, or even charming at times, right? Or if it's some kind of nervousness or a certain tick, or if you have an opponent which is like acting a bit different. And chess is a niche, and it is an odd game after all too.
Yeah.
So I think Levon might have referred to this because he already knew that Christopher might have some problems eventually. That's the thing.
I thought it was more a general remark, you know, that mental training, that this should help. And I think it's quite impressive that people like Arjun or Vidit Gujrati, they declared Vidit said he was meditating regularly, and Vidit Gujrati said that after not qualifying for the candidates, I think he said this in an interview that was published in the most recent issue of New in Chess, that he did some form of inner engineering, and this helped him to focus on the game, to just focus on the process of playing the game. And so that he, in a way, is not so much concerned about winning and losing, but about playing the game and enjoying the game. And I thought that Levon was referring to this kind of mental training, that you somehow teach young people to enjoy the process, to enjoy the play, and not so much like you should win, and if you lose, it's a disaster, and if you win, it's just a big triumph.
That's a great point. I believe that the ambition of the Indian superstars, which we're calling them now, who basically won the Olympiad very recently, and Arjun just won the WR Masters against MVL, for example, and Gukic is playing the World Championship in November. All those players I met in person already, and they are super polite, friendly. They are very social as well. And I think, even when I was talking with Nihal Sarin, I had the interview with him, they all have this common thing, which you just mentioned. There is, and it's an Indian, kind of an Indian word almost, enjoyment,
Yeah.
right? It is something that there is this big focus on. If you play chess, enjoy the chess experience in total, with the losses, with the wins, with everything. This is why also they're not going on the absolute next level and go crazy. They stay very grounded, although they are already in the sky high what their elo is and what their games is and their performances. They're still very, very level, and it seems that it's just a pleasure to interact with them, with every one of them. May it be Prag, Arjun, Gukesh, Vidit, all of them. Vidit is a bit older already, but he wants.
Yeah, he had more time to have mental training.
And they all have this philosophy too, a little.
Yeah, but I think it's an interesting idea that you just not only focus on the purely chessy sides of the game, but also on the mental aspects of the game.
We, of course, would be very interested what you think about it. You can write it into the YouTube comments. And we will read every comment, and maybe we can pick up some in our next show. Yeah. Let's see about that. But it is time to talk about the thing which he was part of, the US Master Championship.
The US Championship.
Of course, yeah.
And this is also what I found quite, everyone is talking, and we were talking just about you and the you incident and so on and so on. And we neglected, or we will focus on this now, the US Championship. And also what I found interesting is that Caruana was winning against you, and this was his third win in a row. He started the tournament with 2 draws, and then he won 3 in a row, and he also won yesterday, the 6th round, so he had 4 in a row. But the game against you does not count. Yeah. But still, it's impressive how Fabiano Caruana is playing. And he's the title holder, he's the defending champion, and I think he has good chances to defend his title and to become US champion 2024.
Sorry, the internet was broken up, but you said like, it's my internet connection actually. It just says right now. Anyway, you just said yes, he has a big chance to win the title. Yeah, he won the last couple of titles, and before him it was Wesley So, and before Wesley it was Hikaru Nakamura, I think. So it seems like
I think Sam Shanklin
he was in between in 2018, I think, if I got it correctly. I met Sam Shanklin in Biel, a super cool guy and amazing author, by the way. Yeah, he's a hard stance.
He's written some very nice, what is it again?
Absolutely beautiful books.
Small steps to big chess improvement, and other
So my golden tip, my golden boy, Awonder Liang, another young star, who is also a talent, but almost a missed talent because he's also not 17 anymore. He's a little bit older by now. But I always thought like Awonder Liang has a big potential because I once watched an episode of Ben Feingold, Grandmaster Ben Feingold, many years ago, and he said like, Awonder Liang, keep that guy in your head. And I always kept him in my head, and now I'm like seeing him also striving along. I think he has 3 or 4 points right now.
I don't know.
I have the current standings in my head right now.
Yeah.
But he's doing... So this is my complete outsider tip. I hope he will win the US Championship. But besides that, there's another one on the steps becoming the new Bobby Fischer, which is of course not in the male things. So it's in the women's section because my goodness, Carissa Yip, 6 out of 6.
6 out of 6.
So what do you think is going through her head right now? I think one of the times she will also face Alice Lee, which will be a very difficult match, but some of the strongest players she already beat. And do you think she is thinking about like 11 out of 11?
I think everybody is thinking about 11 out of 11 because this is the Fischer result. I think when was it in the US Championship 1963, 1964, when he scored 11 out of 11. And I think in previous issues of the US Championship there was even a Fischer prize. You won $5,000 when you managed to win the tournament with $5,000 extra, or even more. I can't remember exactly.
How funny.
When you won the tournament with 11 out of 11. So I think it's on everybody's mind. But I also think I was wondering about this, how Carissa Yip will continue to play. And then I thought back to what we were talking about just minutes ago about this mental approach to the game and the games she has played so far, I think she manages to focus on the game and to enjoy the process and not think about winning, but think about playing. And I think, or I believe, if she thinks about winning and about 100%, she's bound to lose. Maybe she will still become US champion, I don't know, but she will not manage 100%. But if she continues like she's done so far, she has a good chance to score 11 out of 11. But even if not, becoming US champion, US women's champion is a very good result. And I find the way she plays is so impressive and a pleasure to watch.
I have two people in my heart, which is of course Irina Krush, because she's just awesome in every way. And I had like such a nice interview with him, and she's just always in great performance, whatever she's doing. So because she has something on her mind as well since many years now, unfortunately, because she won 8 titles, I think.
Yes, maybe. She won 8 titles.
I think, yeah. So one more title, and she's the record holder of winning the US Championship in the female section.
I think she would share that with Giza Gresa, I think is her name.
I think they both had the same.
No, I think Giza Gresa has 9 titles.
Oh,
and
really?
Irina Krush has 8 titles.
Okay, she would share it, but that would be a mega success, of course. And I also have to... Sorry, yeah? You go first.
Giza, excuse me. Giza Gresa is also, I think some time ago I looked up what was written about her. One of the interesting things about Giza Gresa is the fact that she learned, or legend has it that she learned to play chess at the age of 30 or 32.
Oh goodness, yeah. I think I saw that in your article. Yeah.
And I think she won her last US women's title when she was 63. So if she's any example to go by, there's hope for late beginners and for older practitioners.
I love that, yes. Well, those were different times back then, but who knows. And then I quickly have to mention also Talia Cervantes Landero, who I met in Biel as well. Probably not on the radar for too many people, but she is an amazing person. We spent so much time together in the time in Biel, and I hope, and I'm pretty sure she will do a lot for ChessBase in the near future as well, which I'm looking forward to. Yes, she's just also such a great person and a fantastic coach and trainer, and freaking strong too, 2,300 plus. So there's something to keep in mind for the future.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the last winner of the Bobby Fischer Prize, who didn't win the Bobby Fischer Prize because he kind of invented it after all, as you mentioned already.
This was Bobby the man himself, Bobby Fischer.
You prepared something for us. So
yeah, but I looked up some statistics because I was wondering, before the US Championship, I was wondering who's the record holder, who has won the most US Championships overall. And the winner they share the prize. Samuel Reshevsky and Bobby Fischer, they both won 8 times. But still, the title should go to Fischer because he played 8 times and he won 8 times. And as far as I know, he was always clear first, never shared first. He was always clear first. And I also looked up, well, that's a little question to you. I think he played all in all 90 games and 8 championships. And, well, how many games do you think he won? How many games did he draw? And how many games do you think he lost?
Oh, gosh. Well,
just a guess.
Okay, so if he won 8, well...
He won 8 champions. He won 8 titles. He played in 8 tournaments and he won 8 titles.
Okay, let me say he won 55. He drew 21 and the rest he lost. Can that... No, that's too little. He won 65. He drew 20 and the rest he lost. 5 he lost.
Oh, not bad. I think he won 62.
Oh.
He drew 23 and he lost 3.
3 losses. Wow, what
3 losses.
Trophy.
Yeah, shocking.
Insane.
Shocking. Yeah.
Okay. But now now, Johannes, I so want to see the game now. This is where we will also conclude our section.
Sorry, I just looked it up. It's 61 wins, 26 draws, and 3 losses.
Fantastic. Yeah.
So, and I also, I mean, I'm a big Fischer fan, and I thought just to talk about this, we can look at the very first game Bobby Fischer played in the US Championship. His debut, if you will.
Let's take a look about on that. He was white, of course. That's a good start. Mr. Arthur William Feuerstein. Wow.
Yeah, Mr. Feuerstein. I think Mr. Feuerstein was 22 years old when the game was played.
Never heard
and
of
Fischer was 14, He was 14 years old. And, well, yeah.
So E4, Fischer, best by test, right?
Fischer was white and he played, wait a minute, E4, C5, knight F3, E6, and now Fischer played G3, and I don't know, this is the
theory back then.
I don't think this was much theory. I'm not so familiar with theory, but this is the so-called King's Indian attack because white plays a King's Indian structure. And this was a favorite of Fischer's, and I don't know. Do you know the system?
Well, I know it a little bit because Svetlana Demchenko was actually not only playing it quite successfully, but she also loves to play Blitz against me like this. And in her Twitch streams, she also often refers to the King's Indian attack as like a fun opening.
And the charm of the system is that with white, you basically always play the same. You play E4, D3, knight F3, knight D2, you castle and you fianchetto the bishop. Then you play your rook to E1 in the E file and you play E5. And then you bring the knight to F1, play H4, knight H2, and then you mate black on the king side.
It's always the same.
It's always the same. And it works in 75% of the games, at least against opponents who do not know what's happening. And I remember my first encounter with the King's Indian attack was when I was on the black side. I was playing in a junior team event, and my opponent played like this, and I had no clue what was going on. I was always wondering. I mean, because these moves seem to be so strange.
Yeah,
white is not putting any pieces on the 5th rank. He doesn't seem to be attacking. He spends a lot of time with his knight. But unfortunately, I got crushed. And yes. And just a little detail. My opponent in the game which I lost was a guy called Richard Lutz, who is now the CEO of Deutsche Bahn.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, no bad comments, please. No, it's fine.
No bad comments.
No, he's a cool guy.
So, and I later took up the system with white myself, and I won countless blitz games with it because it's so easy to learn, and you don't need much theory and so on.
I think it's
And
considered a
Fischer's
great
play in
blitz
this
opening.
game is just a model game for the King's Indian attack. So he plays this, Queen C7, Queen E2, and now E5. Yeah. So you drive the knight away and you concentrate on the king side. C3, B5, knight F1, B4. And white basically ignores the queen side to attack on the king side.
Yeah. That's
Well,
how it
now
should
the
be.
pawn C3 is attacked, and white plays C4. Knight C7, H4. Queen B6, H5. Yeah. And this was before Alpha Zero, this was 1957. And here, maybe black should have played H6 to prevent white from playing H6. But he was playing on the queen side. A3, bishop A6. And now knight H2. Really, I found this maneuver really bizarre. You bring your knight to the rim of the board, but it's amazingly strong there. H6. So you play H6 to provoke a weakness on the black squares. And this is, again, which I like about this game, is also, this is strategically so logical. You provoke the weakness, and then you swap off the bishops to weaken the black squares further. Knight d4, queen e3. Yeah. And now black exchanged the bishop. Well, you might wonder what would happen after the knight fork.
Yeah, it looks very forky, right?
Yeah, it's forky, but after queen f4, knight e1, white simply has rook takes e1.
And that's game over for black, or what? All the pieces are on the left side, too far away.
It's not, it's very difficult to defend the position. So if you say you exchange this threatening mate.
Yeah, and queen f6 is also not looking too rosy.
Yeah, but then you have this. But say you have this,
yeah,
then you can always play like this. And,
yeah.
So, and white's attack should be sooner or later, should be overwhelming. So anyway, black didn't do that. He didn't win the exchange. Maybe being afraid. He changed the bishops. Knight g4, knight f5. The knight on f5 always protects the square g7.
Okay.
Queen c7, knight d2. And this is a move I very much like. You retreat the knight to bring it to e4, and then you continue to attack on f6. Rook d4. And then rook e4, bishop b5, rook c1. So, and this is also what I like about this game. White attacks on the king side, but he also does not leave the queen side unattended. So he attacks c5 now. Black plays queen b6, knight d2, again with the idea to exchange rooks and play the knight to e4.
Yeah. Oh, and it happens.
Yeah. Bishop d3, knight f6 check, king h8, g4.
Oof.
With the simple idea, if the knight moves, you take on e8, and then you play queen f6, queen g7 mate. So black took this.
Looks quite reasonable,
e4, but the threat still exists. Knight d4, threatening a check on e2, but after knight
Who
e8,
cares?
white wins material. Queen d8, queen d8, and now knight d6.
Oh, I didn't see
wins
that.
the game.
That's beautiful.
White's a piece up, and if black takes the knight,
then it's
you play
becoming
e6, and then the pawn will queen.
Yeah.
So black plays this, knight c1, knight f7, knight d8, knight b3, king e2, knight e4. And here black finally resigned.
Cute. That was his first win of 62.
61 wins.
61 wins, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Nice game indeed. You can
14
unshare.
years old. Quite
Yeah.
impressive, I think.
Quite impressive indeed.
Okay. So that was the game.
That was the game, and that was our show. 2 nights talk. Have a beautiful weekend, everybody, and see you soon. Bye-bye.
And enjoy your chess. See you soon. Bye.